Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the first group. We would like to explain you about historical perspective of contrastive analysis. Okay, the first is going to be the history of comparative linguistics, originally known as comparative philology, goes back to the 18th century. Scholars begin to compare different languages in a systematic and detailed manner in order to find out whether they were correspondence between them. The objective of such comparative studies was to find evidence for the existence of a common origin for a group of languages. So, comparative linguistics, uh, originally known as comparative philology, is a study where scholars compare several languages to determine the relationship between them. Several languages which have the same origin are called as proto-language or related languages. And in this study, linguists aim to determine what proto-language is like. Not only comparing several languages, experts were also interested in comparing the development of one language. In another type of comparative studies, which is the main focus of our discussion, is contrastive linguistics or contrastive analysis. Let's see the definition in the next slide. Next slide. Okay, the definition of contrastive analysis, or shortened CA, is the systematic study of a pair of languages in order to identify their structural differences and similarities, usually for translation and teaching purposes. Modern contrastive linguistics intends to show in what ways the two respective languages differ, in order to come up with some solution to tackle practical problems. Next point, two languages are compared and contrasted with the aim of assisting second language learners by identifying the probable areas of difficulty they may encounter in learning the target language. So that's the definition and purpose of contrastive analysis, which is to compare two languages to help second language learner and provide solutions to the difficulties they might face in learning the language they want to master. And other than that, CA, or contrastive analysis, has also been used as a tool in translation theory to investigate problems of equivalence, in parentheses, having the same meaning in two languages. Unlike the aforementioned types of comparative studies, CA deals solely with present-day languages. I think that's all about the definition the definition of contrastive analysis. The next material would be continued by my friend Nuril Anas and Saiful. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thanks for the time given. I'm glad for sharing with all of you. Here I will continue what the first speaker has already explained to you. Two main types of constructive studies, but here I will explain you about theoretical constructive studies, where here I will explain you about theoretical or the method. Method is systematic or regular way of working to facilitate the implementation of activities in order to achieve the specific goals. The way it works or matter is we want to know the differences between two languages so that we must be fulfilled. First is the ability of descriptions or descriptions of the two languages being compared. Where? What about the understanding of the constructive analysis? Constructive analysis is the systematic study of a pair of language with a view to identifying their structural differences and similarities. Historically, it has been used establishing language genealogies, where here there are some steps of theoretical constructive studies. The first one is give an exclusive account of the differences and similarities between two or more languages, where here we should give an explanations about the differences between two or more differences language, something like that. We should give an examples of the differences between two or more languages, something like that. The next, provide an adequate model for their comparison, where here we have to give a model comparisons between the two or more languages. For the next, we have to determine how and which elements are comfortable, thus dividing such as notations, congruence, equivalence, correspondent, and etc. Where I'll give you some illustration of theoretical constructive studies. X is the center, A and B is dividing, where language is independent, where the not investigate how a given category present in language A is present in language B. We don't investigate what we have exists in A. We do not need to investigate in language, or we explain again in language B, something like that. Where the next we have to look for the relation of universal category in X in both A and B. Theoretical constructive linguistic does not have directions from A to B, or vice versa, but rather than direction is from A to X to A and to B, where here A to B it doesn't have direction, so it can be direction from X A dividing A and B. First, and A and B it doesn't have what is that direction, something like that. What this is explained, constructive linguistic doesn't have a direction from A to B or vice versa, but rather than direction is from X to A and B, something like that. Maybe that all what I can explain you in this special math thing. For the more knowledge, it will given by our beloved lectures, Mr. Tirmidhi. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. I would like to explain you about applied contrastive analysis. Applied contrastive analysis is part of applied linguistics concerning which practical problems. So, what's applied linguistics? Applied linguistics is an interdisciplinary field which identifies, investigates, and offers solutions to language-related real-life problems. So, applied contrastive analysis is related to practical problems or real-life problems, such as language learning, translation, and compiling bilingual dictionary, for example, English-Indonesian dictionary. In language learning, this analysis is used to avoid interference errors in forage language learning, as advocated by the proponents of CA. As you can see in the first point, in translation, it is used to assist interlingual between two languages. Transfer in the process of translating text from one language into others. Applied contrastive analysis is also used as a tool to find lexical equivalent in the process of compiling bilingual dictionaries. So, the main focus of applied contrastive studies is to examine two or more language that is wanted to be mastered by students and to find the difficulties of a language. Okay, I think enough. Thank you very much. Telah selesai. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.